guys, Dr. Tyler here with Bulletproof Physical Therapy. Today we're going to talk about hip flexor tightness. So we have a ton of runners that will come see us and say that they have just chronically tight hip flexors and it's causing them a lot of pain. And what we're going to show you today is that often your hip flexors aren't actually tight, they're just overworked. So a test we like to use to look at mobility in those hip flexors to make sure that it's not actually a range of motion problem is called the Thomas test. So I've got Paige here, she's going to demo. What I'm going to have her do is you're going to hug a knee to your chest and then just kind of fall back onto the table here. Now, if your leg is hanging down here in contact with the mat table, then it's not really a hip flexor limitation. Someone who had a positive Thomas test, their leg would be up in the air like this, indicating that that hip flexor is tight. So with Paige, it's not a mobility restriction here. It tends to be a strength issue. Okay, so you're having that hip flexor pain, and we just figured out that it's not a range of motion issue. What do you need to do? We need to strengthen that area. So what'll happen is if you're doing all this running, we're working those hip flexors and you're asking them to do more than they have from a capacity standpoint. So then you get that kind of achy, tight, stiff feeling. So what we're going to do next is show you some of our favorite hip flexor strengthening exercises to get you back to running pain-free. So the first exercise we're going to do is called a feet elevated psoas march. Psoas is just short for iliopsoas. That's what we call your hip flexor. So we're going to have a band around the middle of your foot here. Paige is going to lift her butt up in the air. Okay. One leg's going to stay straight and the other knee is going to march towards her chest. Okay. Now when you're doing this one, the leg that is straight, you're going to feel a lot of hamstring, and the leg that is marching, you're going to feel the front of that hip flexor kick on. This really mimics what happens when we run. One leg is straight and we're extending backwards while that other leg is marching. Okay. We normally like about 20 reps here, so 10 on each side, keeping that butt elevated in the air the entire time. All right, the next exercise we're going to do is just a weighted psoas march. So we've got this weight on one side because when Paige marches here, that weight is trying to tilt her to the side and it's going to make her have to stabilize through this hip. So one leg stays straight, the other one marches. We like a slight pause at the top of each rep, just like this. And again, this really mimics that running motion, stabilizing on one side, flexing the other hip, like when we're traveling forward. Same thing, high reps here, 20 to 30 reps. All right, last one we're going to do here. This is one of our favorites because we are lengthening under load through a full range of motion. So we're strengthening and gaining some mobility at the same time while we do this exercise. So all we need is a kettlebell and a mat table. I'm going to have Paige lie down on your back here. Up. So you're going to hook this kettlebell right around your toe there. Okay, we're going to start at the top. Yep, let this foot fall down slowly and then march back up. So as you lower down, come nice and controlled here, Paige. Should feel a big stretch in the front of that hip flexor. You can kind of pause at the bottom of each rep before coming back up. So again, we're lengthening and strengthening here at the same time. Okay guys, those are some of our favorite hip flexor strengthening exercises. Give those a try before your next run, build up some capacity in that area, and you should notice that feeling of like achy, tight, soreness should go away.